We'll start off with our Assemblymember, Mike Miller. Yeah, you're going first today, Mike. Have a few words and some updates.
Never good to go first. Let's talk about this SPS bus route. Anybody in favor of it? Just curious. I know we did the one before.
I'm in favor of the route, I'm just not in favor of the current plan.
I met with the commissioner the other day, prior to, we even had a meeting with the commissioner, but at the wrong time, so I was there now before, so I met one-on-one with the commissioner, which worked out better. They're moving a little bit, they're not like fixated on, that's it. You know how that sometimes an agency can say, no, that's it, that's what we're doing. So they moved a little bit. They understand we need to have access to Jamaica Avenue, the streets. They didn't come out and say they're going to allow left turns yet, but they're looking at it. One of the things they did come up with was, further down we're going to allow people to make a U-turn, come back, and then make a right-hand turn onto Jamaica Avenue. I'm like, you just, a year ago you put up signs, no U-turns, you're giving hundreds of summonses to people because it's a dangerous condition to make a U-turn. And now because you don't want to allow left turn, you want to make U-turns? I mean, how does that? Well, it's one of the things we're exploring, I said, well, figure out how you can make a left turn. Well, after Jamaica Avenue, it's dangerous because they both go at the same time. I agree with her. It is, dangerous when they both go. So do like other places do, allow traffic to come, people make a left while everybody else is waiting, and then the opposite at the end, they can make a left. That's a good idea, we'll have to explore it. So they're still looking into it, they're not fixated on it, and I think we got them in certain areas, at least around, my office and around that corridor, where there is a service road, to maybe utilize the service road instead of the center median that they're planning to do. I did find out though, Woodhaven Boulevard is not going to look like it looks now. Everything is going to be torn out, and they're going to put it as they think they should. So the medians that are there may not be there, and the ones they build are going to be wider. I do agree with paying before you get on the bus. I mean, that'll speed things up. There are a lot of good points, but not the plan as they have it. And I let them know that, and we're going to look into it and we'll get back to you. So I think we have some movement there, yeah.
I think what's missing, one of the main things that's missing from their plan is the fact that Woodhaven Boulevard is a residential corridor.
Correct.
They seem to want to make it into a highway, and there are people living on Woodhaven Boulevard, a lot of people live on Woodhaven, and people don't want to live on a highway for many reasons.
I don't know if they're looking to make it a highway. They're actually looking to slow traffic down. I said, you're taking the lane traffic away. People are sitting there now, now you're removing a lane. Where do they go? Well, by doing that, it's going to speed up the traffic and people are going to move quicker. And, I'm not just sharpest tool in the shed, but it doesn't make sense, So we're still working on it. We're still fighting it. I think we got a little movement. I don't want to put that in the paper to make them mad and then go back the other way. I think we got a little movement that they may utilize the curbs a bit more, at least in our area, than the center median. I think we did okay that way. They're looking into it. Nothing's finalized, and that's good for us. The other thing is the BRT that they were looking to do. They were looking to do it on the where the bus stops are now, making them dedicated stops. They're doing it on Woodhaven between Dry Harbor and Metro. I'm glad that they stopped at Metro. There's no parking, the buses are going to run, and that's it. And we're pretty lucky that we got out of it that way because they stopped and Metro didn't continue down. That's because most of us, Bob and myself, a lot of us complained about it, you guys, and they like that stuff. What else? Assemblyman in your area. Every year we do Assemblyman in the area. We go to different places in case people can't come to our office. We're going to go to different locations and sit there for a couple hours and people have problems to come in. We sent out a whole list of locations. I did it electronically, but we're going to be mailing something out. The Block Association building is one of them. And senior centers, you know, the IRI Cafe on Jamaica Avenue will be there for a few days. In case people have issues, they can come in. And then, you know, we're here, we're working. You know, I said it, we do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're there. You might man the phones. If you have a problem, give us a call. And again, please not for cats and things like that, you know, on a tree, but issues that really come up, you know. And my staff really works hard in getting a connection, police department, parks, and other agencies. So we look forward, you know, we look forward to working with you again. It's a good year for me. I don't have to campaign. Elections next year, so we have more time to, you know, be out in the public and do what we're supposed to do. Anybody have questions? Thank you. Yes.
No, I just want to bring up a small point about the Woodhaven Boulevard. When they do the reconstruction of it, one of the things I've been noticing lately, especially like around over here on 91st Street and 91st Avenue, this overpass. You know, one of the really good points about, first of all, since we don't have the train, you don't really need it anymore. All right. Secondly, right now traffic is diverted out of the main lanes into the service road for all commercial stuff like trucks and stuff, which is the cause of a lot of accidents and definitely congestion. If you're talking, I'm going to mention, if they could take that overpass away, trucks would go straight through. It would certainly speed things up. Also, if they're going to be putting the bus stops, you know, on the outside part of those dividers, now you got trucks trying to cross over in front of where buses are going to be. It's just going to be horrendous.
The best is, you know, they're going to allow trucks to make that U-turn that they were talking about to get down so they can make a right-hand turn.
Oh, God.
I just sat there looking at it like for 5 minutes. I had no response. Sometimes silence comes in. Well, that's just one thing we're looking at, you know. So we're working on it. I think our comments, you know, I think maybe, you know, writing to them and giving your comments will help too, because I think the more comments they get, if you're in favor of it, great. If not, you know, it gives them more information.
Any chance you could
No.
have a meeting? You don't even have to talk about anything. Just get them to come to Woodhaven and go to like Metropolitan Avenue at about 2:30 when the kids are getting out of school.
We did.
And just have someone that actually makes a decision on the site.
Senator Dobb and I met with
Ride the bus.
Polly Trachtenberg, the city commissioner, and the MTA, and we are going to have a bus that is going to come, you know, from one end to the other. I don't think everyone's involved. It's going to be, you know, like just a regular small bus, but we're going to do that. And I want to do it during rush hour, and I want to show them how it takes, you know, 1 hour to go 3 miles on Woodhaven Boulevard. You know, yes.
I'm kind of puzzled by this whole thing. I was at the first meeting that they held in Woodhaven.
Okay.
And there was unanimous dissatisfaction with the entire plan. And so it's been. And yet, they keep coming back to this, even though there is such widespread opposition to it. Why?
Unofficially, the mayor wants 20 dedicated bus routes in the city by next year, and that's something they're looking at. They have $220 million to spend. They're looking to spend it here to get this route. I gave them an alternative, okay? I told them to use, you know, the Rockaway line, make that a dedicated bus lane. Just buses, no cars. The buses can move. They're not going to be tied up, you know. They'll be able to fix it up. It's not as loud as trains. It's not as awkward as somebody walking and looking in your house and stuff. But it was a great idea. I left it at that and I get no response. I thought that was a great idea. You know, we discussed it on the show, the lineators, you know, the lane on the other side of the road. I mean, you know, they knock all of it down. It's not safe. So we keep going back at them, and we have to keep doing it.
All they really have to, no, it's not a question, it's a statement. All they really have to do is look at the recently implemented 34th Street SBS. I watched for the last year and a half as they did the curb cut. And now, there are so many buses going into such a small curb cut that they now not only take that lane that's gone now, but they also back up into the other lane, which is supposed to be through traffic. So now you have one lane of traffic on 34th Street between Park and Madison, and it backs up into the intersection. It just doesn't make any sense if you have, like we do, a 53, a 52, a 21, an 11, and a QM15. It's just going to back up. It's just going to clog everything up. It doesn't make any sense in the current plan.
One of the things, there was a vote in the Assembly like one of the last couple of days, and that was to allow cameras on fixed locations where you have those bus lanes. So that's going to happen, I think, between Rye Harbor and Metro, okay? And they're going to look to give people summonses for riding in the lane. I voted against that. I didn't think it was a good thing. It almost failed. They didn't have enough votes, and then of course they start working people over. And it passed, but it sent the message that you can't keep shoving things down our throat, because right after that, mayor called, not the mayor, his staff called, you go through what happened, and so we're able to get it across to them that not all their ideas are great. Yeah.
My block is going to be the only down block. And you have to see it now, before the implementation of this. They're backed up, you would think I was in the middle of Manhattan. You cannot even cross from one side of the street to the other. And now with this new deal that they're working out, I'll see you in the spring sometime, because I'll never be able to leave that block, and there's no parking as it is, and the people are going to lose it. It seems that we, that are the ones who are going to bear the brunt of this, have little or no input. And I don't see how fair that is, because we elected you to speak for us and we are speaking for us. But who speaks for us at these meetings?
Perfect. We have a chair for Community Board 9 Transportation, Penny Wilson.
Sorry, yeah, Chair of Transportation Committee Board 9. I'm sorry I'm late. Early meetings, kind of killer when you work late. No, we didn't interrupt you. I don't know what you talked about yet, but when I found out through newspaper that they were putting bus lanes at Rego Park, I sent out a scathing email to everybody saying how upset I was that I was notified that they're implementing SBS without my notification. I went to what they call a CAC meeting, Community Advisory Committee, which I don't know why they call that, because we're not advisory, they just tell us what they're doing. And they told us, and I asked them at the very end, because with the ban of the left turns, they came out with alternates, where maybe you'll go past Jamaica Avenue and they'll make a left turn, which is actually a U-turn to get back onto Jamaica Avenue. They're coming out with all different drawings. I said, okay, well this may look okay, maybe you might come up with something else, but you will go back to the community with this, correct? They said, absolutely. I said, so I heard some rumors of some money that needs to be spent by a certain time or has to be implemented to start the process so you don't lose anything. And they told me personally, Ken, there's no timeline, there's no rush, we're gonna go back to the community. Then I read something in the paper. So I flipped out, I'm sorry, I'll send you a copy to your office, but I emailed everybody. I just happened to have a meeting that I had to go to at Coswitz and the Q10 and MTA. And so I told them how upset I was. And it was nice, actually, the Queensboro Commissioner, DOT Commissioner, she called me. She was actually on vacation. She was down on the Jersey Shore. And she called me. And what she basically explained to me is the bus lanes that they're putting in down there is not part of the SBS at all. It is part of the congestive corridor study that started in 2008. The reason why it's a little confusing is their theory is that Woodhaven Boulevard starts off in 3 lanes, all the way down by Queens Boulevard. And they figure if you keep a constant 3 lanes from there all the way up to the bridge, Metropolitan, which is 3 lanes, all the way out here where it gets reduced sometimes, that it'll keep traffic flow moving. It's kind of the same theory that they did over here by taking away 1 lane in the service lane. You keep it 1 lane, but they didn't think about everybody turning to back off. So the only way of limiting people not traveling in that 1 lane, even though technically it's not needed for congestion for buses, is to make it a bus lane. That's their theory, and that's what they said to me. They apologize, so on and so forth. Again, it's temporary until they work on the designs of SBS. But as for the traveling and the bus lane, you have a 200-foot rule. That's what they said. So you can get in that bus lane, as long as you don't drive more than 200 foot while you're looking for a parking spot, going into valet, so on and so forth, you will not be ticketed. I mean, that's basically all I can say right now. If anybody has any questions, I've attended all these meetings.
Part of the discussion we had when we had the bill come up was from Staten Island, where they have the dedicated lane for buses. And the number of summonses that come out, and they're not on, they're supposed to be on the front of the bus. They're not on buses that fixed on the street. Even if you have the 200-foot rule, people are getting summonses, because if they pass it, you know, they're clocked, they get the summons, now you gotta go fight it. People are just paying it, because it wasn't paid to go fight it, costs more money. So in essence, you know, that, they have the rule, but it doesn't really
Yeah,
work.
we tried to get them to put them down at the corner. So technically, so you're allowed to be in the bus lane whether you're parking within 200 foot. So it'd be 200 foot from the corner. If you don't make a right turn and you go straight, then you'll get a summons. Because technically, then you're traveling. You're supposed to be in that lane to make a right turn or park.
People are getting summonses
Yeah,
on
but
Staten
they-
Island when they go into, you know, a supermarket, you know, they're turning in the parking lot. So they get in the lane, turn in, they never make it to the next one, you know, they still get a summons. So, you know, we came up with all those issues, it doesn't pan out.
You know, I
But we're
think
lucky
what-
it's not here in our.
I think what we have to do is
I just have a
really pay
question.
attention to SBS and just educate ourselves and ask questions and make sure we go to the media, which we're lucky, we usually get a good media turnout in our meetings, and they're,
And right to the commissioner.
yeah, we write to someone and let them know what we think, that, this isn't something that they can just force upon us, we're not gonna accept that. We're lucky to have elected officials and other, people from the community to help us, get to the right person to make sure that we're gonna be heard, so, Dory?
At the last meeting at Borough Hall, I asked them what was the number of constituent people that came to the all the workshops. Now, you're talking from Greenville Park, Forest Hills to the workplace, a little over 180 people. How many people actually live within that? I complained at the time of the meetings, and I asked them, would they please have another meeting that would be able to be on a Saturday or a Sunday at a normal time where people would be able to really fill a room and give their opinion. I said, because we keep telling them, mine, Joe, Eric, everybody, the problems that we're hearing from constituents. So they said they're supposed to have another meeting, but I would urge everybody to go, look at the maps, look at the drawings, we'll put your little sticky on them, and then
We'll work on, I'm not sure if everyone here is on the grapevine list, if you're not, please sign up, but we'll work on something, sending that out, so you can click on the link and you can see what these drawings, these renderings will, look like, and see, I guess from what it sounds like, the mess that we may be, sucked into, but, let's continue to look at SBS, let's
See if
continue
we
to
can
fight
get them
this.
to come down.
And then see if we need to get them to come down. Like I said, I think the key, like Dory's saying, the key part is, having a meeting for the community when the community can actually make it. Not having a meeting because it fits your schedule of your 8 to 5 or 9 to 6, because you work for the city and you just don't want to come in on a Saturday. For a project like this, you have to go above and beyond.
When is your next meeting?
Our next meeting is August 15th, Saturday, and it's actually here at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.?
So if we can get someone here, that'd be great.
We also know, I think, circulated contact information for the commissioner, so that people can
Should
email,
write
the phone and email address for the commissioner.
We could definitely do that, and I think, we know from other projects that we worked on and we spoke about, the squeaky wheel will get someone to come to a meeting or get someone to pay more attention to us. So if we can't make those meetings, that doesn't mean we can't make a phone call, we can't send an email, we can't send a letter. So let's work together, make sure that we're gonna get the right representation, and make sure we're gonna get what works best for each community, not just for one, not just what works for Ozone Park or what works for the Rockaways. Excuse me, it needs to work for everyone. So, okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you, Mike.
Oh, yes,
One more question, please. Has anybody addressed a possible cause of this dramatic increase in traffic on Woodhaven Boulevard as the direct result of the construction in the Kew Gardens interchange, where people come off the Belt Parkway, go up Woodhaven Boulevard, make a left and go down to the BQE, or make a right to go in a different direction, that a tremendous amount of this traffic is the result of of it being virtually impossible in the morning particularly, because of the truck traffic on the Van Wyck. The Van Wyck has been paralyzed forever. It's the butt of a million jokes, okay? The city, the state, and whoever else is financing that Kew Gardens interchange, they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars, probably a few $1 billion, is going to be going on for years, and it's definitely contributing to what this issue is on Woodhaven Boulevard. Does anybody see that?
We can ask DOT to do a study and see if that's.
Also, one more thing.
And to come up with something that can alleviate that.
Is the city's goal here with this bus lane to get the city buses to move faster, or to put more express buses in the lane, or an attempt to maybe try and get some people out of their cars? What exactly is the goal here?
All of the above.
All of the above.
Their goal is to make, bus transportation move quicker. They feel with a dedicated lane, they don't have to try and get in and out of traffic every time they make a stop. That will make the buses go quicker. They feel that if buses go quicker, people will see that and say, hey, I'm not going to take that bus. So that's what they're looking to get at.
Well, it sounds like it sounds like a really good idea. But the reality here is that it's real difficult to get people out of cars. And if you stand on any corner from Queens Boulevard to the Belt Parkway, in the morning or in the afternoon, it's a safe bet that 5 out of 10 cars have one person in them. And it's very difficult to get people out of cars.
We talked about that, on the radio show, about having a lane, for like 2 or 3 people instead of just one, and giving incentives for people to carpool and stuff like that. We talked about all of these issues in the past. I brought them forward, to DOT numerous occasions, so they have them, but we'll look into and see if they can do a study for that.
And, again, any ideas you have, if you think you can't make a meeting, you can forward it to us, we'll forward it to CB9 or to DOT, to Mike's office, to make sure it gets out there, so, I think this is, a project like this is something that you need a lot of involvement in. You just can't let an agency just say, here, take it, trust me, it's gonna work. So we have to keep an eye on this, and we have to make sure, the $250 million that's burning a hole in someone's pocket, and they want to spend it like a drunken sailor because they just can't hold on to it.
That's a big tattoo.
We have to make sure that, there's things you can't rush. You can't, because what's plan B if this doesn't work?
We didn't like plan B.
And again, that's the thing. So what's
I think
plan
once
C?
we have the bus ride, the elected officials and some of the other people from community board and stuff are going to take, that they get a better understanding of what they're up against, especially during rush hour. That's going to be a big thing, In the morning in front of my office, you can't go, at all. You just can't do it. It just takes forever. A lot of that is the lights, the timing, the traffic, the turning, the bus. It's the whole big thing. They think they can correct that.
Yeah.
So, Senator Nava and I, we want to prove that you can. It has to be done differently. So we're working on it.
Thank you, Mike.